There's only 20,000 brokers registered in the
Yes.
entire US. That means there's only 20,000 individuals that are providing that financial literacy to these business owners. So this might be something good to look at, considering that it's a growing demand and not enough people to supply it. So just to kind of recap, we've already talked about why it's easy to start. Not really any license or experience required, no special certificates or any like that. You can have our team fund the deals for you and broker the deals, reach out to the client, or you can do it yourself. It just depends on how much you want to make. But really more importantly, it depends on like how much time you actually have to invest into this. Like you mentioned, you can do as low as 1 hour a week, or I mean 1 hour a day. It would be nice to
Hmm.
do 1 hour a week, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
now let's talk about why this business model would work for people. I know you right off the bat, every business needs money, especially
Hmm.
now with this economy. But why would this model work for specific people? I know with the people that I talk to mainly, it's a lot of people that are just looking for like a remote position, right? Or like a
Hmm.
remote business model. Right now, with so many things going and turning into an online model, this kind of has always been like an in-person thing, right? Where people would go into an
Before.
office.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now with everything going online and having these apps like Zoom and Google Meets, this can now be an online business model. But for you specifically, when did you make that transition and how did it look like for you to turn this into an online business model?
Yeah, great question. Once I noticed the demand for it, I noticed that because I generated a lot of my leads through networking, in-person events. I'm a very introverted person, so I don't necessarily enjoy going into large groups of people and talking to them naturally. But at the time, it was essential for me to do that, right? So I used to attend a lot of networking events, and me being me, I just didn't feel comfortable talking to people. And a lot of the events in New York City had like a two-drink rule for the event to be free, basically. And I was drinking two drinks, then it became three drinks, and I was attending like five events a week. I was like borderline alcoholic at that point because I was getting my comfort through alcohol. And I noticed, all right, this is going down a wrong path right now. This shouldn't be the only way to do that. And I started coming across people who were like me and who didn't really want to be the face of the company. And we get a lot of those people on the calls too, right? They're like, hey, what if I don't like doing networking events? What if I don't like jumping on the calls? So you can be behind the scenes and have technology help you generate leads. We provide tools, for example. That's why the refer and earn is key. Like we provide you the website, your funnel, even like lead generation AI driven systems that you can literally just push a button and it gets you in front of hundreds of people who will be a good fit for funding. And all you do is qualify them and send it over to our team. So you don't necessarily have to talk to anyone if you choose not to talk to. But my passion was consulting and training people because similar to your background, my background, we don't have financial literacy in our genes, right? So we don't come
Yeah.
from the lineage of aristocrats, like families of like wealthy individuals. We had to learn that stuff. And my father went through two bankruptcies, right? So I know the pain of not having money and the feeling of helplessness, like a lot of people go through nowadays. Your credit is bad and you had a couple of bad hits on the road, and you look at your parents, they always suffered, and they have those classic sayings, money doesn't grow on the tree. Who do you think you are type of thing. You
Yeah.
grow up with that mantra. It is very tough to break through that. That's why we took a different angle with BLB. Yeah, you learn how to fund deals, but the essence, the core mission is to help people develop financial literacy. Like to your earlier point, he came from a low income family too. Why is he consulting people? Because people are drawn towards people who understand finances. Like whether you love money or hate money, whatever it is, I don't think we can ignore that it's required to have a decent living, at least in the United States. So
Yeah.
you need to do something to generate income, right? And the reason this is one of the best vehicles is that if you already made up your mind that either you're going to generate side income or start a business, why compete with 34 million other businesses out there? Why become another one of those versus you flip the game and kind of become your own bank and help them get funding? All of a sudden, you're not competing with anyone. If someone is starting an Amazon business, good for you. If someone is starting a dry cleaning business, good for you. If someone's starting a restaurant, construction business, it's all good, right? You can help them get access to capital, and you can do that still through in person if you're that type of person. I always tell people, Israel, look at your skill set and lean on more towards what you're good at. If you're always like, we have a lot of extroverted people like consultants, coaches, speakers. Obviously, they're more driven to do business in person and they're amazing at it. I guess I'm the proof. You're the proof that you can be introverted and still make a huge impact by just learning this skill is so valuable. The financial literacy, understanding how credit works, how funding works. And also, we haven't really touched on this. Maybe it's one of your questions, but income generating models are multifold. One is front end income, meaning that you fund a deal, you get paid. The second thing is like you and I mentioned, business line of credit, repeat payment. Third thing is the residual payment. So if you set someone up with credit monitoring or credit repair, you get paid every month that they pay, you get a portion of that. What does that do? It lifts the whole society of people like having better credit, better funding options. So they don't have to go through the fast, most expensive one, but you can help them develop those skill sets. So that's why like we're super driven every day to help the right people and connect them. Yep. And if they're a good fit for our culture and what we do here, then we walk them into the BLB.
Exactly. And there's different directions they can take. Just like you said, if they're more introverted, they don't want to hop on the calls. This is an online business model, but it doesn't have to be on the video call. It can be over the phone. No. It could be over email. It could be over text. We provide like the whole system, CRM. It's a client relation management tool where you'll be able to communicate with your clients however you want to communicate with them. So that's made easy, and that's why the business model can kind of fit to how you want it to work. But more now to kind of close off, one really interesting stat that I kind of looked at as far as like, why aren't enough people providing this information to people? And it surprised me that as of 2025, there's only 20,000 brokers registered in the entire US. That's the entire nation only has 20,000 brokers. That means there's only 20,000 individuals, which the majority of these are part-time people that are providing that financial literacy to these business owners. So if the question was, why would this be a good fit and why now? Well, it's because there's not enough brokers. And, backing your stat as far as like how many businesses are getting started, if you put that ratio, there's not enough people providing that literacy for as many businesses are being built. So if you've thought about starting a business and specifically online, this might be something good to look at, considering that it's a growing demand and not enough people to supply it. So what are your thoughts as far as 20 brokers?
Yeah, you nailed it, dude. I wasn't sure of the exact number, but think about how crazy that is. Like if there are truly 20,000 brokers and some of them are not even full-time brokers, we have 7,000 brokers in our community. Like almost most of them came through BLB. So if you're looking to take a shortcut, I know people are smart enough to figure it out on their own. But one of the things that I learned from my mentors and I pay dearly every single year, as you know, I travel all the time to get mentorship. You just came from another investment, like a retreat for mindset, right? We all invest in ourselves. Why do we do that? Can we figure it out? Maybe, but life is too short to do trial and error, especially in business, right? Either you're going to run out of money or you're going to run out of patience, or it's going to mess up your psychology, right? You can only put yourself through so many failures before you kind of quit on yourself. And we don't want to do that. And the other thing is, I want to give you another statistics. I think it was the 2024 data that there were like 3.5 million homes sold in the US. And guess how many real estate agents were there?
Probably double that, maybe.
It's the same, 3.5 million. Oh. So look at the saturation, right? So like per real estate agent, in one house, we're talking about 30 million, 34 million small businesses. More is being formed. More homes are not being built every day. There's a shortage in the United States, but more businesses are being formed more than any other industry. And only maybe 10, 15,000 full-time brokers, and the others are maybe tried industry in and out, like very micro level number versus the macro level number. So if you're going to get into an industry kind of early on, and the other thing is banks will not want you to know all this information, honestly, right? Because they want you to deposit your money every single day. When it comes to, like, I know a lot of small businesses, they use the same bank for the past 15 years. And when they needed capital themselves and the bank says no. So we solved that problem. But let's close up with that. Anyone watching, if you like this, please like and subscribe to the channel and comment below on what your thoughts, both Israel and myself will be glad to answer. And if you're one of the fortunate people to have a call with Israel, obviously you can see that you're in good hands and we'll help you decide if this is a good fit. We'll honestly tell you if this is not a good fit. We're not looking to onboard people who's not a good fit for our culture and what we do. And we're not truly ambitious, like, because it just comes with it. Like, you really need to want to make a change in your life. And that's why you come to us. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining. I think this was a great episode.
Thanks, Oz.